and I am so stoked. I'm gonna be in a whole bunch of places, so if any of you guys are actually from Costa Rica, I would highly appreciate it if you guys sent me a DM, and maybe you can give me some tips or places to visit, and I'll tell you what places I'm gonna be at, and you can give me some recommendations. But yeah, I'm gonna have to do some pre-filming of some episodes, and this whole week is basically gonna be prep before I leave. So far, I've been doing some online shopping. I booked a eyebrow lamination and tint. I booked an eyelash tint and lift. I'm gonna get my toes done, my nails done. I just booked a lymphatic drainage massage. I have a laser hair removal appointment. I'm getting a facial. I'm really just doing the absolute most, but I feel like it's always just a good time to do a little glow up, like before you go on a trip and you just leave feeling amazing. So I'm so excited. I'm gonna be going with 2 of my friends, and it's gonna be so fun. I haven't gone on a trip with them in such a long time, probably since I was literally in high school. So I think it's just gonna be a great opportunity to bond, to get some girl time in, and yeah. Other than that, this past week has been a very social week for me, but I am going to be going into my hermit mode because, like I said, I have so much to do before I leave, and I think it's time for some solitude, which kind of leads us into today's episode. The past few days or the past few weeks, I've been hanging out so much, and I even got kind of in the routine of it. So when I had a free day, I was gonna go to a coffee shop, and I was like, should I text someone? Should I ask someone? And then I was like, Fernanda, you used to hang out all the time by yourself. You don't need to ask anyone. Just do it yourself. You used to love hanging out by yourself. And not to say that I don't still. It's just that I haven't had time to. So anyways, I went by myself. I had a great time, and I always enjoy my own company. So going off of that, I wanted to make today's episode on entering your solitude era or your solo era. So let's jump into the episode. Let me tell you a little bit about spending time alone and my experience with it. When I was younger, especially in high school and when I lived at home with my family, I didn't really spend much time alone. I mean, I would go to the coffee shops here and there, but really I was always around other people. And it wasn't until I started traveling that I had to be alone. And it did make me feel a little bit sad at sometimes. Like I think I would be traveling and I'd get really homesick because I just didn't have somebody else to talk to. I would feel super bored. I just felt very lonely. But through traveling on my own, I got a little bit more accustomed to it. And of course, once I moved out of my family home and I started living alone, that was like my literal solitude era because now I live alone. So that was crazy. It did feel like I was just in a hotel though, so it didn't feel too bad. But I will say for the first like 6 months of me living in this apartment, I swear I basically only hung out with myself. Like I would hang out with my friends every weekend and stuff, but during the week it was solo time. And goddamn, did I get good at finding things to do, not being bored, and enjoying my own company. I think spending time alone is such a important thing to do because you really have no other option than to sit with your own thoughts. And sometimes that can be painful because some things that you suppress or some things that you think you don't even think about can come up, and then you just start overthinking, and then you're just like, what the heck? Why am I sad all of a sudden about something that I didn't think I was bothered by? And it can be very hard to sit with your feelings, but I do think that it's vital to go through because you end up on the other side with much more clarity and maturity, and I feel like you just work through a lot of problems that you have on your own. I also think that being alone really makes you have to figure out things to do. Like, unless you're going to be on your phone for 12 hours a day, you're going to have to find activities to do. And one of the things that I love doing while I was alone, I feel like I don't do it as much anymore, but when I first started spending a lot of time alone, it was like journaling, either doing daily summaries or doing journal prompts from Pinterest or whatever it was. I did a lot of journaling because I wanted someone to talk to, and you know, in that way you can kind of talk to yourself here. And so when I am alone, I feel like it's a perfect time for self-reflection. You can kind of really sit with your own thoughts and even think about the goals that you want to have, think about the type of person you want to be, think about if your actions are aligning with who you are trying to be, just all of the above. It's a really great time to think about where you are at and what you've been doing in the past. I also think that when you're experiencing stuff on your own, it's a lot more entertaining and you notice a lot of little things. Like for example, when I'm going on a trip with my friends, there may be so many little things that happen throughout the day that I completely miss because I'm with someone else. And when I'm alone, I am noticing every single thing around me. I'm really analyzing situations after they happen. Say I had an interaction with a stranger, maybe after that I'm gonna think about it for a little bit longer and maybe what I said, what they said, and you really just reflect on a lot of situations. I also think that it allows you to have a deeper understanding of your own feelings, and you just kind of learn to like self-soothe, which sounds kind of funny, but like if you're feeling mad, if you're feeling angry, if you're feeling sad, you can kind of figure your way through the emotion when you're by yourself and just be like, why am I feeling like this? What made me feel like this? Why am I triggered? And it's honestly a blessing in disguise to have to spend a lot of time alone, because you will develop all those like skills and all those important like stepping stones without even meaning to.